Blizzard conditions have shut down roadways and travel is not recommended in many areas of western and northwestern Iowa this afternoon. DOT Winter Operations Director Craig Bargfrede says a large area is impacted. If you draw a line basically from just north of Council Bluffs, kind of in the Missouri Valley area, and then do a diagonal up through Carroll, Fort Dodge, Mason City, pretty much that area, along that line, and just north of that line. Interstate 29 is closed in both directions between Sergeant Bluff and Missouri Valley. Bargfrede says they are working on getting some of the vehicles there removed, as there are power lines down on the interstate. He says electric crews can't get into work on the power lines until they get cars out of the way. Bargfrede says there are a lot of semis and other cars that have blocked roads as the storm blew through. We didn't close the roads. The roads closed themselves due to incidents and vehicles and trucks basically getting stuck and stranded in those areas, he says. Bargfrede says they have not pulled any crews off the roadways. We're continuing to plow and trying to get in there as best we can and at least free those vehicles, Bargfrede says. There are some towing bans in place up in that same area. So, what that means if the vehicle is down in the right-of-way, not in the traveled portion of the highway, it's probably going to remain there until conditions have improved. He says the snow missed much of the rest of the state as it curled up north. Get into the Des Moines and on into say, Iowa City, Coralville, Cedar Rapids area, into the Quad Cities. Conditions are much better, still seeing wind, still seeing some off and on showers in that area, but not the snow. It's pretty dramatic drop off from where we're seeing the significant snow till there's basically nothing other than wet pavement, Bargfrede says. Bargfrede says crews will keep working as long as needed to clear the roadways. That at one point in the afternoon, Mid-American Energy spokesman Jeff Greenwood says more than 23,000 Mid-American customers were without power due to the storm. We're really getting hit hard by Mother Nature this time around, he says. It is the second blizzard they've had to deal with this month, and he says the snow isn't the biggest problem. Really, the biggest system impact that we're seeing is due to extremely high sustained winds and wind gusts. Those winds are just pummeling our overhead lines there, he says. They're taking down trees. Tree debris is taking down overhead lines, and then with all the snow that we're getting, it's hard, if not impossible, for our crews to get to where they need to go in some instances. Greenwood says the most damage so far has been in northwest Iowa. They're seeing a very large number of lines down, trees on lines. We're seeing poles down, and I mean a fairly large number throughout the northwestern part of our service area. So this is a sizable impact that we're experiencing, Greenwood says. He says the number of people without power has been constantly changing as the storm moves through and they react to the damage. In some cases, we are able to reroute the circuit to restore customers, but in other cases, it is going to be taking a broken pole out, replacing that pole, and then all the equipment up on top, and that's going to take some time, he says. There has been less snow as the storm moved to the east, but Greenwood says ice has been an issue in other areas. When ice builds up on an overhead line, it changes the air flow on that line, the line starts to bounce. And once it bounces violently, it can snap, it can break components, and it can take down poles. And we've seen some situations where it's a cascading effect, and it's pole after pole after pole that's been taken down. Greenwood says they had enough warning for this storm to get crews in place. We were concerned enough to send extra crews into western and northwestern Iowa to stage them. In other words, we put them in a location and they waited for the storm to come to them. And that's because we were concerned about the ability for them to travel, Greenwood says. Greenwood says those concerns about travel proved to come true as the closed roads have caused problems with crews getting in to fix down poles and power lines. Omaha Public Power District warned customers that they were dealing with a multi-day event and urged those without power to plan accordingly. Barring unforeseen circumstances, We expect to have all customers restored by the end of Monday. However, we expect that most customers will be restored before then, according to an update posted at 5:40 p.m. Wednesday. Please plan accordingly for your specific needs, and above all, please stay safe. Snowplows and utility crews were ramping up recovery work late Wednesday afternoon as the blizzard was expected to exit the Omaha metro around 5 p.m. An Omaha Public Power District spokeswoman told First Alert 6 just before 4 p.m. that they had 255 workers in the field, including 45 line and cable splicing crews, 10 two-person troubleshooting crews, underground construction, and contractors. Both OPPD and Mid-American Energy in Iowa have put out calls for mutual aid. Our neighboring utilities are handling outages as well. So, any additional support we receive in our area will likely have to come from a little farther away, the OPPD spokeswoman said in a news release. By the afternoon, I-80 was closed from Gretna to North Platte because of the blizzard. On the Iowa side, the blizzard closed Interstate 29 from Sergeant Bluff to Missouri Valley due to low visibility, stranded vehicles, and downed power lines across the interstate. Mid-American Energy said in a 5:45 p.m. update that it was also asking for assistance from mutual aid crews. ME reported that crews had been working to restore 30,000 outages throughout Iowa, shaving that number down to about 15,000 at the time of the update. In the Council Bluffs area, there were as many as 11,000 customers without power as the blizzard was passing through Wednesday afternoon. That number was down to 3,700 as of 6 p.m. MAE pointed to issues with precipitation and wind leading to tree and ice-related outages in Council Bluffs and rural Pottawatomie County. Meanwhile, Omaha City crews have been working to clear the heavy, slushy snow, and officials said they'll be out all night trying to beat the freeze. As far as our crews go, it's been mostly a plow-only operation. Warm ground temperatures. We're not seeing a lot of icing and bonding of snow to pavement, Austin Rouser with Omaha Public Works said in an update Wednesday afternoon. Really, the plow is the main tool for the storm. We've had our plows out since the start of it. They'll continue to be out all night. The city tells First Alert 6 they decided to bring in residential contractors to avoid the slush from freezing on side roads overnight as temperatures drop. After midnight, we expect things to start to freeze up, and so what we don't want to happen is have some of the slush sitting there that's going to freeze overnight, because it'll be hard to get rid of tomorrow. So we're trying to get everything clear while we have those warm ground temperatures, and we'll just keep working through the night, Rouser said. For now, it's a plow-only operation. Later on, if it starts to freeze out there, they will go in with salt, he said. Several school districts not on spring break canceled classes for the day, and many business stayed closed Wednesday. The blizzard has also impacted travel at Omaha's Eppley Airfield, with a number of flights canceled or delayed. Heavy snow and high winds are combining for treacherous conditions on roads in southern Minnesota. MnDOT traffic updates show a number of crashes or spinouts are being reported along the Interstate 90 corridor in southern and southeastern Minnesota.
It's like 8 inches, but it's so heavy.
The worst of the snow and wind is being reported along a band stretching from Fairmont in south central Minnesota to Winona on the Wisconsin borders.
30, 40.
Here's how things looked late Wednesday morning, with the images below taken from MnDOT traffic cameras. There have been reports of numerous traffic incidents, particularly in the Fairmont, Albert Lea, and Winona areas, where roads are completely covered in snow and visibility is atrocious due to wind gusts in excess of 50 miles per hour. The National Weather Service says by the time snow ends later on Wednesday, up to 8 inches may fall in parts of southeastern Minnesota. The blizzard warning will remain in effect until Wednesday evening.
blizzard video. It was 80 degrees yesterday. That was a blizzard going on.